Ever find yourself halfway through a road trip, questioning your life choices as you're stuck in that bumper-to-bumper traffic? You, my friend, are not alone. And while I can't promise a magic, traffic dissolving spell, we can dive into the world of Waze and uncover how this kind of quirky app took on the challenge of outsmarting gridlock, one crowdsourced traffic report at a time.
It's more than just avoiding that dreaded red line on the map, though, right?
Yeah.
This deep dive takes us into the heart of crowdsourcing, data privacy and the future of navigation. Fasten your seatbelts. It's going to be a fascinating ride.
Okay, so let's unpack this. You're telling me Waze isn't just some app dreamt up in a Silicon Valley coffee shop.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Waze started life as Free Map Israel back in 2006. The goal was simple but ambitious. Create a free, community-driven digital map of Israel. Think completely free. Free to use, free to contribute to, free to update, the whole shebang.
Wow. Talk about starting from the ground up. But how did they go from a community mapping project to, well, the Waze we know today with the quirky voices guiding us to our destinations?
That's where the magic of crowdsourcing comes into play. Waze recognized the power of tapping into the collective wisdom of, well, everyone on the road. See, traditional navigation apps relied on outdated maps and static data. Waze flipped the script. They empower their users, or Wazers, as they're affectionately known, to become the eyes and ears on the road.
Hold on, I'm picturing a massive worldwide game of telephone, but with traffic updates instead of whispered secrets. Is that what's happening here?
You're not wrong to think about it as a network. Every time someone using Waze encounters a speed trap, a pothole the size of Texas, or heaven forbid, a rogue inflatable flamingo obstructing traffic, they can report it in real time.
So it's like a live, constantly updating GPS map fueled by, like, good Samaritans armed with smartphones. That's brilliant. No wonder Google came knocking.
Ah, yes, the billion-dollar acquisition. In 2013, Google recognized the game-changing potential of Waze and acquired them for a cool $1.3 billion. Now, that's a lot of zeros. To put it in perspective, each of the 100 Waze employees at the time received an average payout of $1.2 million.
Talk about a life-changing exit. But I imagine a deal that massive also raised some eyebrows, right?
It certainly did. The Federal Trade Commission, FTC, even launched an investigation to see if the acquisition violated any antitrust laws, essentially questioning if Google was trying to eliminate a potential competitor.
That's a juicy bit of trivia. But instead of getting lost in the legal weeds, let's shift gears back to the user experience. What makes Waze stand out from, the sea of other navigation apps?
Oh, for starters, Waze doesn't just tell you the fastest route. It tells you the fastest route based on what's happening right now.
Right.
Thanks to all those real-time user reports, it can, dynamically adjust your route if, say, there's a sudden traffic jam ahead because a truck decided to parallel park on a freeway.
Okay, that's happened to the best of us. I've definitely uttered a few choice words at my GPS in those moments. But Waze relies on its users for more than just traffic updates, right? Didn't you mention something about finding cheap gas? Because my wallet is always interested in that feature.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Waze crowdsources gas prices too.
Oh, wow.
Users can report the price of gas at different stations, helping their fellow Wazers save a few bucks. And speaking of saving, Waze can even guide you to specific lanes to, like, optimize for carpool or HOV lanes so you can whiz past those solo drivers stuck in traffic.
I'm starting to think Waze users deserve some kind of superhero status. They're like the traffic-fighting, gas-saving guardians of the road. But with great power comes great responsibility, right? What about the potential downsides of all this data sharing?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Waze walks a tightrope between its incredible utility and valid concerns about data privacy. For example, remember the police locator feature we touched upon earlier?
Oh, right. The one that sparked a bit of controversy with the LAPD.
Exactly. While Waze argues it promotes safer driving by, making people aware of police presence, some argue it could be misused, putting law enforcement officers at risk. It's a complex issue with no easy answers.
It highlights the importance of considering the potential consequences of technology, even when the initial intention is positive. And speaking of unintended consequences, weren't there some concerns about Waze being vulnerable to manipulation?
Yeah, there have been a few instances. Back in 2016, researchers from UC Santa Barbara exposed a vulnerability that allowed them to create fake traffic jams on Waze.
Really?
By manipulating the number of users they showed in a specific location, they could trick the app into thinking there was a jam when there wasn't.
Wait, hold up. So you're telling me someone could create a phantom traffic jam just by, like, messing with some data? That sounds like something out of a tech thriller.
It definitely raises some eyebrows. Thankfully, Waze addressed that vulnerability, but it served as a wake-up call, right?
Yeah.
It highlighted how even seemingly foolproof systems can have weaknesses, especially when relying on, user-generated data.
It makes you think twice about that shortcut Waze just routed you through, doesn't it?
Right.
But beyond these individual incidents, what are the broader privacy concerns surrounding Waze?
Well, Waze collects a lot of data about its users.
Right.
Not just your location in real time, but also your speed, your driving habits, even the places you frequent.
Mm.
Now, they argue this data is anonymized and used to improve the app, but it does raise questions about how this information could be used or even misused.
It seems like with every technological advancement, we find ourselves grappling with new ethical dilemmas. But Waze isn't just navigating personal journeys, they're also venturing into the realm of smart cities, right? Tell me more about this Waze for Cities program.
It's actually quite fascinating. Launched in 2014, Waze for Cities is a two-way data sharing initiative between Waze and municipalities around the world. Waze provides cities with anonymized aggregated data about traffic patterns, road closures, and incidents reported by users.
So it's like Waze is lending a helping hand to city planners, giving them a real-time pulse on the ebb and flow of urban traffic. What kind of impact has this program had?
It's been quite impactful, actually. Over 450 organizations worldwide use Waze for cities to, manage traffic flow, plan road work, and even coordinate emergency response. For example, in Rio de Janeiro, they've integrated Waze data with other transportation apps to create a comprehensive traffic management system.
Wow, that's incredible. It sounds like Waze has become much more than just a navigation app. It's playing a role in shaping the future of our cities.
It certainly has, but as with any technology that involves large-scale data collection and sharing, it's crucial to proceed with caution and ensure that privacy and ethical considerations remain at the forefront.
You're right, caution is key. It's like we're driving into uncharted territory with all this technology, and we need to make sure we're not taking any wrong turns with our data. But before we hit the brakes on this conversation, we should probably address the elephant in the room. Google.
Ah, yes, the Google factor.
Hmm.
Waze started as this open-source, community-driven project. But when Google took the wheel, they shifted gears.
And not everyone was thrilled about that detour, were they?
Definitely not. Some felt like Google's proprietary grip on Waze went against its initial community-driven ethos. It even sparked a class action lawsuit alleging that Waze had incorporated code from another open source project without permission.
So did Waze stray too far from its roots?
That's a matter of opinion, really. The lawsuit was eventually dismissed, but it highlighted the growing pains that can come with a tech darling transitioning from a scrappy startup to a billion-dollar subsidiary.
It's a classic tale, isn't it? The little engine that could, getting scooped up by the tech giant. But even with those growing pains, there's no denying Waze has revolutionized navigation.
Absolutely. It's a testament to the power of crowdsourced information. And think about it. What started as a way to navigate the streets of Israel is now helping us navigate the complexities of data privacy, urban planning, and our evolving relationship with technology.
Talk about a long and winding road. So for our listener who's been patiently riding shotgun with us on this deep dive, what's the takeaway?
I think the Waze story encourages us to think critically about the technology we use every day. It's easy to take for granted the convenience of real-time traffic updates or finding the cheapest gas, right? But behind those features is a complex ecosystem of data collection, algorithms, and, yes, even ethical dilemmas.
So it's about being informed users, asking the tough questions, and demanding transparency from companies like Waze.
Precisely. Yeah. Because the future of navigation and really technology as a whole is being shaped by our choices. As Waze continues to evolve, it'll be interesting to see how they navigate the road ahead, balancing user experience with data privacy, and perhaps even charting a course for a more, sustainable and equitable future for all of us.
Well said. That's our cue to head out into the metaphorical sunset of this Waze deep dive. For our listener, we hope you found this journey insightful, thought-provoking, and maybe even a little bit entertaining.
Yeah.
Until next time, happy navigating.